Good morning. Gangs in Juvenile Justice System by Alonzo M. The term gang has no fixed legal meaning. The definition of gangs has varied over time according to the perception and interests of the definer and the academic fashions and the changing social reality of gangs. Gangs are considered more pathological than functional organizations, so that the term has become almost synonymous with violent and criminal groups. In most recent definitions of gang is the idea of criminal. Under one definition, a gang is considered a gang if the formal organizational structure has identified leadership, identified territories, and have a recurrent interaction and is engaged in a series of violent criminal behavior. Criminal street gangs, as an ongoing organization or association or group of 3 or more persons whose primary activities include the commission of one or more serious violent criminal act that has a common name or identifying signs or symbols, and whose members, individually or collectively, are engaged in the path of criminal gang activity. How does it relate to the juvenile justice system? The juvenile justice system process, often a critical intervention point in the lives of the troubled youth, has to carefully balance prevention, intervention, public safety, offender accountability, rehabilitation, and restoration. The juvenile system has shifted its orientation over time and the degree to which it focuses on punishment rather than prevention. For example, a particular issue of concern is around what juvenile justice currently is the impact that the juvenile violence on the lives of young people. Juvenile justice reform movement in this nation has become devoted to finding new ways to reduce gang-related crimes and violence. A number of states have enacted laws to enhance the penalties for gang-related offenses, and many local jurisdictions have adopted ordinances that are designed to curb or outlaw gang-related activities. Federal authorities and local law enforcement agencies also have combined resources to create a multi-jurisdictional task force and other bodies to investigate, prosecute gang members. A host of prevention and intervention measures have been implemented in the schools to dissuade children and adolescents from joining gangs and engaging in crime and violence. Most juvenile delinquents are handled by the state and are usually immediately released or lightly punished. The method employed in handling juvenile generally stems from the traditional approach of trying to rehabilitate rather than punish juveniles. A particular problem in dealing with an increase in juvenile crimes is compounded by the limited beds which are used to determine the available space to accommodate juvenile offenders. Increasingly, violent criminals are getting a keen respect for the federal and criminal systems. They are aware of the abolishment of parole as well as the high guidelines and enhanced sentencing for drug and firearm-related federal crimes. It is imperative for the safety of the citizens of the United States that the United States Attorney's Office become more involved in seeking out the most serious juvenile offenders for prosecution as delinquent or transferring them for criminal prosecution as an adult. A study conducted in 40 of the nation's largest urban counties found that an estimated 7,100 juvenile offenders were charged with felonies in adult criminal court cases in 1998. In these 40 counties, 64% of the juveniles were more likely than 24% of the adults to be charged with a violent felony. Juvenile offenders were generally treated as serious offenders, as 52% did not receive pretrial release, 63% were convicted of felonies, and 43 of them were convicted and received a prison sentence. states have expanded the mechanism by which juveniles can be charged in criminal courts. In 1998, the statutory exclusion was the most common method, which is 42% used to charge juvenile defendants compared to the more traditional use of juvenile waiver, which is 24%. About 2/3, 66% of the juvenile felon defendants in 40 large counties were convicted either of a felony or a misdemeanor. Of these convicted, 64% were sentenced to jail or prison as the most serious penalty. An average prison sentence received was 90 months. In 40 counties, in 1998, 62% of the juvenile felon defendants were black, 20% were white, and 16% were Hispanic, and almost 2% were from other races. This concludes my presentation.